Protect your stuff now. Today we're talking home security during tough times. A few years ago, we had a thief steal from us. We filed a police report, but we never did get our stuff back.
So we looked into fortifying our property and our home.
Today we're sharing a whole bunch of tips of things you can do to help protect your stuff.
Right here on Cabin Life.
Hey folks, I'm Glenn.
I'm Maureen.
Welcome back to the cabin.
It's an unfortunate event when your home and property are targeted by thieves who want your stuff.
Yeah, it leaves one feeling violated and victimized and just feeling stressed out.
So we're going to share some tips with you.
And since it's kind of a serious topic, hopefully we can have some fun with it regardless.
This video was inspired by a viewer who commented that in tough times it means more crime.
And whether you're in the heart of the city or out in the remote wilderness, we're all subject to the risk of theft. There's a lot of gems and tips that we share scattered throughout this video, so please don't skip.
And pay attention. Thieves like to steal stuff, and we used to think, oh, that only happens in the city.
No, it seems that thieves will take anything, whether you're on a farm or out in the remote wilderness. They'll steal tractors, they'll steal chickens, cows, generators, fuel, gasoline, just about anything that they can get their hands on.
Everything's up for grabs for the thieves if you make it easy for them without any deterrence.
And as thieves become bolder, it means taking bolder security measures in order to protect your home and property. Think of your home and property as having layers of security or rings of security.
First, looking at your entranceway, it's the first ring, your driveway and your walkway.
Is it securely gated? A gate won't necessarily stop someone, but it will slow them down.
Yes, if they cross over that barrier, that's a psychological factor that the perpetrators know that they're trespassing.
At your entrances, consider putting some signs up.
Like no trespassing, surveillance cameras, or security alarm signs.
If you have a buzzer at the gate, you could put a sign that says, "Do not enter without permission," and then they can hit the buzzer, and if you've got a talkback system, then you can find out what they want. Speaking of signs being posted, how about a sign that says, "If you can read this, you're on camera"?
Or how about instead of beware of dog, you say beware of lion?
Or better yet, in Canada, it would be beware a bear. Or how about do not feed the polar bear?
Add lighting at the main gate and all entry points.
And install some sensors that trigger those lights and some cameras. Have some hidden cameras as well as visible ones.
And put some fencing around the perimeter as well.
So at that first layer of security, what does your home and property look like from the street view? Are there a lot of expensive items that are out in plain view? If so, you might want to tuck those away.
Install motion sensors and driveway alarms so that you know when someone's approaching.
And that includes sensor beams. When cars drive by, then you can be notified that you've got company that has gone past your gate. And if you have a long driveway, then we could consider that to be perimeter number 2 or ring number 2 of your security layers. Put a gate and an additional fence around it, and inside of that fence, that's where you can have a dog or 2.
And if you can't have a dog, get yourself a big dog house and a big thick chain. That'll make the intruder think twice.
Now the third ring or layer of your security are the actual entrances to your home, including all your doors and your windows.
The goal is to make it as difficult as possible for the thief to get entry.
Now below your windows, you could put some thistle bushes, thorn bushes, rose bushes, that kind of a thing. Or you could even put a board and hammer a bunch of nails through the board, points up, put that down just below the window, and put some leaves and grass and whatnot over to cover it up.
Just don't forget that it's there.
Make sure that all the windows have good strong locks, and consider putting a piece of wooden dowel or PVC pipe on any windows that slide open or up and down. That will help prevent them from being pried open.
You can also get outside security shutters. And there's also films that you can put on the windows that make it difficult for the thieves to see in. And some of them even prevent the glass from getting broken if they try to smash a window.
And consider putting drapes or blinds in front of your windows on the inside as well. Okay, let's talk entrance doors. You might consider replacing your wooden doors with steel doors, and they're usually much stronger. And consider also changing the screws that are in the hinges from the little screws to maybe 3.5-inch screws that go right into the frame. And also strengthen up your door locks and the deadbolt as well.
And also look at getting a peephole camera.
And here's something that I consider to be a really good gem of home security, and that is consider installing a heavy-duty bar that goes right across your door and beyond the door edges into the wall, and that will be a security bar about halfway up the door, and it can be a 2x4 or it can be a steel bar.
Another good idea is a door night lock, which goes into the floor. It goes from the door to the floor, and it makes it difficult to kick the door in.
So I was talking to my buddy on the phone the other day, and I said to him, "Hey, I got my hair cut." And he said, "Is that singular or plural?"
Put a couple of pair of work boots just outside the door. It gives them an idea that someone's home.
And you could try a cheap and easy measure, and that would be string a fishing line. It acts as a tripwire outside of your door, and have that go inside and attached to some bells as an early warning system. Or as a higher tech measure, you could have some sensor lights that work on those frequencies, and you can buy an array or a whole network of those lights. And let's say you have a one light set on a frequency outside that triggers someone who walks by. You could have the corresponding light on the same frequency inside, and it lights up at the same time to give you that early warning system.
Those systems are a really good idea because you could have a set of lights, say, at the front of the house, or you can have a set of lights at the back of the house. And because they're different frequencies, you could be told by the lights inside the house whether someone's in the front yard or the backyard.
Well, string some bells and hang them over top of the door on the inside. The door opens, you got jingle bells.
Put some noisy things on the windowsill, so if they do get the window open, when they try to crawl in, they're going to make a lot of racket and noise.
As an extra measure, you may want to put a security camera or two visible right inside of the house, and put a couple of hidden ones as well.
Store your valuables out of sight or maybe even off sight.
Where do we put the coffee?
Be sure to have your jewelry safe and hidden.
You could put your valuables in a safe and anywhere but the master bedroom. Thieves always go to the master bedroom for the valuables, and the safe could be put under a counter, bolt it to the floor, maybe at the back of a closet, bolt it down, put some boxes on top of it and in front of it.
Yeah, keep some lights in different rooms on their own timers, and that way it looks like someone's home.
Or you could put a recording of a big mean old dog on playback loop.
That's not recommended if you have a neighbor in earshot.
Okay then, better yet, just put a motion sensor that'll trigger the recording.
Yeah, it would work. I was talking to someone who was telling me that when they had the electrician install a motion sensor floodlight, they also had the wire go to a radio inside the house so that when their floodlight was set off, the radio inside the house also went off so that they knew that someone was in the yard approaching the house.
That's a great idea. There's also those sensor alarms that send out 120 decibel noise alarm, and very piercing to the ears. Don't forget to put your earplugs in before you go to set those and test them.
One of the stats that really surprised me was Nationwide Insurance said about 25% of Americans leave their doors unlocked when they leave home.
Most burglaries happen between 10 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon. And most burglars only stay in the home for about 10 minutes, so they like to get in quick and get out quick. Well, if you're planning an extended away time, Consider putting a hold on your mail and all your deliveries.
Make certain that someone is going to take care of your yard maintenance. Long grass is a sure sign that no one's home.
I keep my hair short for that very reason. And hold off posting on social media that you plan on being away or that you are away and sending pictures and so forth. Probably best to wait until after you come back.
There was a story once about a wedding where the people announced their wedding plans on social media, and during the wedding celebration, their home got robbed.
So don't share your address and personal information on your social media. There's people look for clues. A would-be thief will look for clues on where someone lives, what area, that kind of thing. It's not that difficult sometimes for them to nail that stuff down with a little bit of work.
Another thing you could do when you leave the home is leave on a podcast, a TV show, or a radio talk show. The conversation makes it sound like someone's home.
Here's a few general tips, and we've got some really good ones coming up. One thing is, back your car up into your parking spot and always keep your gas tank 3/4 full. If possible, try to move your car in the driveway every few days.
And keep your insurance up to date. Keep a battery bank, a power supply, or a generator on hand for when the power goes out. That way you can keep your security system running.
And it's always a good idea to have a few flashlights handy with good working batteries, maybe one right at the entrance, another one in the bedroom. This goes for not only insurance, but to protecting your stuff as well. It's better to have it and not need it rather than need it and not have it.
Meet your neighbors and your community. Then you can watch out for each other.
You know, there's a cost to acquiring all of your stuff, but there's a cost to protecting that stuff with security measures. And you think about not taking those measures and what it means. That could be a cost on its own.
There's the price of doing something, and then there's the cost of not doing that thing.
Well, you made it this far in the video. Could you let us know? Is this video any good? Is the information we've passed on valuable? We really would like to hear in the comments what you think.
So you see that the front gate alarm has been set off. So you go look at the cam to see what's happening. And then if you have a two-way system, you can talk to them to ask them what they want.
And if they continue up the drive or closer to your home and actually try to gain forceful entry, then call 911 and then go to your self-defense mechanisms. It could be a baseball bat or whatever of your choosing. It's always a good idea to take a self-defense course and a firearms training course as well.
You could also use your key fob to set off the car alarm.
And that 120 decibel alarm system, you could always put your earplugs in and then trigger it.
Before it happens, have a plan.
Do not engage the perpetrator. If you can, have a safe room to go to retreat to, and call 911. Do not engage unless you're confronted. Well, we hope these tips have helped, but to make them useful, you actually have to put them into action. Use what's applicable to you. Well, that's all for this one. We'll see you next time right here on Cabin Life. I'm Glenn.
I'm Maureen.
Over and out.
Take care.
Oh, wait, we didn't tell them about the concrete barrier that's embedded with glass, shards of glass and stuff.